Hello, this is Miss Anthony. I really hope that you enjoy the Year 3 curriculum presentation and that it's nice and informative, and I look forward to seeing some of you at the Meet the Teacher. In Year 3, we work on 3 key aims. So the first one is to encourage independence. We do this obviously in every year, but this year we really work on them doing things by themselves, them working things out for themselves, and just less adult guidance needed in certain areas of school. We also work on being reflective and them growing in confidence. So they're going to be doing lots of self-evaluation, peer evaluation, looking over their work, lots of purple penning in their books, just making sure that they're reflecting on what they're doing and making sure that they're really happy with their work. And and that links into our next aim, which is encouraging children to take their own learning further. So rather than having to come to a grown-up and saying, okay, what do I do next? They should know the next steps and be able to sort of take ownership of their learning, being able to go and find the next step, know what to do, rather than having to go put their hand up and say, I'm finished. Hopefully they'll be able to, by the end of this year, know exactly what they need to do next. There's lots of finished work areas in the classroom that they can go take a task and bring it to their table without having to put their hand up and say, I'm finished. In Year 3, we try to do a very cross-curricular approach to teaching. So, for example, this half term, we are learning all about the rainforest. Now, in English, we learn about the Great Kapok Tree, which is set in the Amazon rainforest. In science, we are now learning about plants. In geography, we learn about the rainforest. And then our art also manages to link to the rainforest as well. And doing that, it means that the children get an in-depth understanding of the rainforest as well. So we try to do that with all our topics this year. We also will start the Read, Write, Ink spelling programme as well. They sort of began it in Year 2, but Year 3 is where we really go and we do it every single day after lunch. It's where they learn their spelling rules, they learn bits of grammar, and it really helps the children with their writing as well. So that's something we do every day. Then we move, as a whole school, we have moved to a new maths scheme called Power of Maths. This scheme has a very growth mindset based outlook. So we will focus on, giving things a go. Even if you're finding it tricky, give it a go. Be resilient. And we've got these characters that all link to it as well. It's going to be a learning curve for the children because everything's done slightly differently. And it's also going to be a bit of a learning curve for the grown-ups as well. So that's something that is now introduced school-wide. So from reception, up to Year 6. In Year 3, we work on the Amazon rainforest in our first term. We move on to the Stone Age, which the children loved last year. Extreme weather, where we learn all about different types of weather. We do some work on volcanoes and things like that. So they really enjoyed that last year. In Spring 2, we do the Egyptian Adventure, and then we move on to Shady Shadows and Cosmic Chaos. Our timetable for Year 3 is very consistent and very simple. So every day we start off in the hall for collective worship. We will then come and do some maths. After maths, we then start handwriting. We then go out to play. When we come back in as a whole class, we always have a whole class book that we are reading. So we'll spend sort of 10, 15 minutes reading that as a whole class. Then we move on to our English. And then after lunch, again, we will all do reading and spelling and grammar for half an hour. And then in the afternoons, that's when we do our PEs, our geographies, our REs and sciences. And then on a Friday, that's our PE day, so we'll do PE first thing, and then after break we do art, and then we have a nice relaxed afternoon because by that time the children tend to be a little bit exhausted. We are going to be using dojos this year. So this is a reward system where if we see children showing the right behaviours, or we're really trying to link it to the 3 R's. So if I see them being ready, responsible or respectful, then they will be getting dojos for that. And they get rewards based on how many dojos they have got. So there's no sort of competition with it. So once the child has reached 10 dojos, they can change their little monster. And then it goes up to things like extra golden time, extra break time. There's a prize box. And so each time the prizes go up. So we try to link it a lot to our new 3 R's and also to growth mindset. If there's someone being especially resilient, or I'm seeing someone persevering, then I tend to give them dojos for that rather than just, well done, you smiled at me today. The homework this year is very similar to what it was like for them in year 2. So there's 3 pieces of homework a week. So you will have your normal reading and reading 5 times a week, at least with them. This doesn't just have to be our books. Obviously, if we could read them at least once. But, you know, if they're reading Harry Potter at home, or if they're reading, you know, Roald Dahl or another kind of book at home that you want to write in their reading records, then we really welcome that, because any kind of reading is great, so you can write that in. I do ask that grown-ups write in their reading records and not the children, please. So that's the first piece. The second piece is Ready Writer. This links with their spelling and grammar. So the spelling and grammar that we are doing in school links to the spelling term that I will put on Ready Writer. This is set every other Monday, so they have 2 weeks to do this. And I have gone over it and showed the children in class how to use Ready Writer and how to navigate the website. So that is set every other Monday. And then just like last year, their mathematics is set every single Monday. And again, it links to things that we are doing in class. So if we are doing something to do with multiplication and division in class, then the mathematics will be linked to multiplication and division as well. So that is the homework. Hopefully it'll be simple, and I'll try to keep the children updated on what's due in as well, and make sure that it is all completed on time. This year we're still going to be doing the spelling challenge, so your child should have been sent home with the words a few weeks ago. It will still be in the same format as in year 1 and year 2, where each half term we'll do a spelling challenge with them for the words for the half term, and we try and get the children to do as well as they can on that. So these will still be coming home with you, and we will be doing that every half term. Some general reminders about year 3. Our PE days are a Monday and a Friday, so please could the children be coming in their PE kits on those days. We're also asking if trainers cannot be worn in the other days as well, so please only trainers on a Monday and a Friday. Show and tell, these are done every Friday. If we could make sure that it is related to the learning or an achievement from home rather than toys and things like that. So please could you make sure that there are no toys coming in unless they're related to our learning, and maybe sort of helping them with what they could say about the item that they are bringing in. Please can we make sure that every item of uniform is named? We've already had a few lost cardigans and coats and things like that. Please can you make sure that every item is named, otherwise we cannot return it to its owner. In year 3, they also bring in their own piece of fruit. Please could you make sure that if it is coming in a container, that both the lid and the base are named, because lots of times they are not put back together, and so we might find a lid and not the bottom, and we won't know whose it is. So please could you also make sure that the containers that the fruit is coming in is also labelled as well, please. If you have any questions about the presentation or about the year 3 in general, feel free to email the staff out and I'll try and respond as quickly as possible. But I hope you enjoyed this slightly different presentation evening.